first date should be kept light, playful, curious. And I'm that friend who is finally going to tell you the truth. Let's start with the one thing you do in conversation that makes you incredibly selfish, especially when you're even trying to be relatable. So this first thing is what I call waiting for your turn. You probably think you are great at conversations because you have a story for everything. Your date mentions they went to Italy, and suddenly you jump in and you're like, oh my god, I went to Italy too. I stayed in Florence for a week and the pasta was insane. And then you proceed to continue talking for 3 whole minutes on the date. I know, you think you are being relatable and you think you're trying to find a common ground, but in reality, you are not actually listening to what you're saying. You're waiting for a gap to jump in. I would say this is just a subtle form of narcissism. And that totally kills the vibe because your date does not really feel heard. They just feel like they are an audience at a one-man show or something. Honestly, look, I used to do this too because I actually thought doing that would make me come off as interesting. Here is the rule no one will tell you. If they tell you a story, right, you don't get to tell a related one. Hear me out. Until you have asked at least 2 follow-up questions. And also, instead of saying me too, you can ask what was the part of the trip that actually surprised you? Or you can say something like, how did you feel when that happened? People don't fall for the person who has the most stories. So you should stop trying to be interesting and actually start trying to be interested. By default, most people turn to ask interview questions. And I know I do. Because mostly when you're on a date, definitely you're nervous and you didn't prepare what questions to ask. So you turn to ask, where are you from? What is your favorite color? And things like that. But unfortunately, that is the fastest way to kill a vibe. Because you will be thinking getting to know them, but this is just you letting them do all the hard labor. They have answered these questions over 1,000 times on several different dates. If your date starts to feel like they are filling out a form, then they won't feel the attraction. The facts are for LinkedIn, emotions are for dates. Take this example. Don't ask, what do you do for a living? I know, you'll be thinking, what should I ask? Instead, you can ask them, what would you be doing if you didn't have to worry about money? Also, don't ask them, where are you from? Instead, you can frame it like, what do you miss about your hometown? You are falling for a feeling. If you're not sparking a spark, you're not getting a second date. This one is small, but it is a silent killer. You sit down, you are polite, and you put your phone on the table face up. You don't even touch it, so you just keep thinking you are doing the right thing. I have done this before, putting my phone on the table on a date, the screen up. Why is this wrong on a date? It's just that by having that phone visible on the table during a date, it just makes it seem like you are on call for the rest of the world. You are telling your date that you are the priority right now, but when a notification comes up, that notification will take priority over the date. And trust me, this is just like bringing a third person to the table who won't stop staring. Put that phone in your pocket, put that phone in your bag, put that phone somewhere. Leave that phone in the car. Oh, maybe not, because when there's an emergency, you might not be able to call for help. So just put that phone somewhere. Not on the table, not face down. Just put it away. I know, in 2026, undivided attention is rare. That is a luxury right now. When you give someone your total attention, you become 10 times more attractive. Seriously. In comparison to that person who keeps checking their phone or their text, you are 10 times more attractive. Yes, I think the first step to admitting to fixing a dead dating life is to actually admitting to killing the vibe. Is to admit killing the vibe. So you think being easygoing makes you likable? Really? Okay, in reality, you not having any preference doesn't make you chill. Not knowing where to eat, what to drink, it just makes you invisible. Because lack of opinion isn't chill, it's just lack of character. People need to fall in love with your personality. And you can have a personality if you constantly try to mirror a behavior to avoid conflict. I'm gonna be giving you three columns: a bad column, a good column, and the best column. And the bad is gonna be the turn off, the good is gonna be the standard, and the best will be the epiphany. All right, so I'm gonna say this statement and then you can guess where it goes, whether it goes in bad, good, or best. But I'm just gonna be putting it in the table as I say it. So you could pause and guess where it goes. Where do you think this goes? Accent, what do you do? Bad. Accent, do you like your job? That goes in standard. When you ask, do you like your job? That is the standard. And when you're asking, what's the one thing you would do if money didn't exist? That is best. That's just the right one. Good is good, but then we are rooting for the best. Okay, how about this one? When you say splitting the bill 50-50, where do you think that goes? That actually goes for good. That is actually the standard. But when you decide to pay the bill silently, that is bad. That is actually bad. I've got the dinner, you grab the drinks at the next stop. That is actually the best. This is bad. Being 15 minutes late is bad. Texting, running late. If you're texting, I'm running late. That is good. That is good. But if you decide to come in 5 minutes more early, order a drink, and waiting, that is even better. That is best. Now we are getting into some really deep stuff. This is mostly for you if you're a high achiever. You think mentioning your job and your resume and your achievements is going to work out on the date. Mentioning your promotion, your travels, your luxury cars. By doing that, you are showing value. It's understandable, but that doesn't work. The whole truth is when you brag, you come off as insecure person in a fancy suit. And when you keep selling yourself, it just comes off you feel you are not enough without all the shiny objects you have. And for instance, if I go on a date and you have to tell me you are a big deal, I'll totally or automatically feel like you are not. Because when you're a big deal, you don't say it. You can just tell from your energy, your steez, your aura. You can just see it. The truth is that value it's felt, it's not stated. If you truly have value, it's going to be felt in your manners, in the way you move. You need to be confident without them, that's your date, not knowing how much you have or what shiny things you have. You still have confidence without them knowing. Let them slowly discover your wins. And that makes you more attractive and mysterious. We all have heard be nice to the waiter. That is just a basic thing, right? But I'm talking about something more subtle. Micromanaging your environment. You complaining the table is too small, the wine is a little off, the music is too loud. I know you might probably think this shows you have some sort of high standards. Look at it this way. Your date might see it as some sort of preview as to who you really are when they even decide to live together with you. This is how it's going to be. It's just gonna be like if you are this complicated over a salad, how is it gonna be when there are real relationship problems? You are basically signaling that you are impossible to please. The truth is to be the person who can find fun in a difficult situation. And honestly, I think this applies to all of us. We all are not looking for a critic, we are looking for a partner. That's what we all want. Just show them you can handle friction with grace and they'll feel safe building with you. I'm not saying to act gracefully and later when the date goes well and you end up being with this person, you show a whole different side of you. Just apply this not on the date, but as you also go into the relationship, try to be graceful. Finally, this is the biggest mistake people make when they think the date is going so well. You are vibing, so you just decide to go deep. And when you start going deep, you go deeper and you can't stop. You talk about your ex, you talk about your childhood traumas, you talk about your deepest fears, and you feel like, oh, it's fine because you are trying to be vulnerable on this date. No, it is not vulnerability. You are creating emotional debt. It's like you literally handed over a very heavy bag of yours to a stranger and they cannot carry that bag for you. This kind of kills the romance and it replaces it with some sort of therapist dynamic. First dates should be kept light, playful, curious. You know what? Thank you so much for watching. Leave the comments below and subscribe.